Hello. So, um, the political situation in our country, if you want to call it political, has taken a very, very bad turn for a very large portion of the population. We've seen it coming for a while. We knew it was coming. We hoped that Donald Trump would at least be able to, I don't know what the word is, assuage it or um, hold it back, hold it off for maybe 4 more years. But we all knew it was coming. We all knew what was happening. We all saw the so-called social changes that were taking place in our society. You know, the shift towards blaming everyone for your problems, blaming everyone for blaming the past. This saying that our country was founded on evil principles and founded on slavery and founded on this. Yes, there was slavery and there were evil things happening when our country was being founded. That's true. There's no doubt about that. Slavery should never have been, but it lasted way longer than it should have, especially given the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all these different things. But all that proves is that evil people, just like nowadays, just like we are seeing right now, that all that proves is that evil people were able to overcome good people and usurp the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all those things for their own personal needs rather than and they did it with money, they did it with power, they did it with influence, they did it with lies, just like the far left is doing today with this election and with all the things that are happening in our society right now in our country. So the fact that these people are using the Bible to defend their position, the fact that they're using the existence of slavery and the existence of the things that happened after slavery, like all the terrible things that happened to black people, the lynchings and all this kind of things like that. But the fact that they're using these things to defend their position so that they can bring in the exact same thing under a different name. They're going to, instead of subjugating black people and Hispanic people, they want to subjugate the white people. So there's no difference in what they're doing and then what they're talking about happened in the past. The only difference is they're doing it for their own selfish interest instead of somebody else's selfish interest. It's really the same thing. We have a constitution, we have a bill of rights, and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights give everyone, regardless of gender, regardless of skin color, regardless of status in life, the same basic human rights. And it's supposed to be across the board. But just like in the old days, in the 17, 18, 1900s, whatever, when evil people used lies and trickery and double talk and deceit and greased the palms of people who were in certain positions of power. They used the media, just like they did that then. The same thing is happening now. The only difference is instead of black people being subjugated, it's the white people, and Christians, Christian people, people of good moral character, people who in many cases have fought and bled, and who have family members and ancestors who fought and bled for the cause of freedom. And now we're being told that we are responsible for the terrible things that are happening now and the terrible things that have happened to people in our country all throughout the ages. Um, the largest, the most amount of people who have done things to make things better in this country for the disenfranchised, for the mistreated, have been white people. You have the Quakers. The Quakers were a huge group of people who helped the underground railway system go so that black people could escape from the South and go to the North and whatever. Abraham Lincoln, very, very much a white guy. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Matter of fact, most of the laws that we've been pushed into, and rightly so, like during the civil rights movement, have been signed off and approved by white people who are in power. And now after we've done everything we know how to do to make this situation better and to bring everybody in society up to an equal standard, now they're saying no, we don't want equality, we want revenge. And they may not use those words, but that's basically what they're saying. They're saying, okay, we're going to ignore all the things that have happened in the past, all the struggles that people have made, all the ground that people have taken to bring people back up to a level of equality, and we're gonna take instead of doing that, we're gonna turn around and we're gonna twist that to make it look like all those things that happened were actually just white people being mean and subjugating black people, and now we're gonna blame all our problems on white society. Every person who's white and votes Republican is now a supremacist or a Ku Klux Klan member or whatever. The whole thing is absolutely insane, but we knew it was coming. Okay, so we shouldn't be surprised. This shouldn't shock us. We knew that Biden was going to take over. We knew that we he hasn't even been president for an entire day yet, and we already see that he's basically taking the entire city of, or whatever it is, district of Washington D.C. over and put it under the thumb of the military. I mean, he's got it locked down tighter than a drum. This is a bad thing for several reasons. For one thing, it's not really the job of the military to do that in peacetime. And for another thing, it indicates to me that he's going to be doing something that's so radical and so wrong and so evil that he's going to need an army around him and around the White House to protect him from something. So what is he going to do? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. We already know that he's going to take away our guns. He's going to try. He's going to start with the AR-15s and whatever, the high capacity magazines, but he's not going to stay on that very long. He's going to go full anti-gun, and the reason he's going to go anti-gun, and I don't care what your political position is, if you don't think we need guns in this society, remember how we got this society to begin with. Remember how we took it away from the British people. We didn't take it away from the British people using being nice and being polite and having, sending them psychiatrists to talk to them about things. No, we took it away from them by shooting them when they came to try to take it from us. We shot them, we killed them, we put them in prison, we drove them from this land, and now we have the United States of America. So if you think that it's going to be okay to go ahead and take all the guns away, and you think only people who are not going to have guns are the bad people, the white supremacists, I got news for you. That's not what the aim is. He's not trying to take guns away from white supremacists. He's trying to take guns away from us as a nation so that we cannot fight him whenever he does whatever he says whatever he's going to do, whatever he's moving towards. And it's not really him. He's just the voice. The real power behind it is Harris and the so-called Democratic Party, which is nothing more than this is a coup. I'm not sure how to spell it up. It's a French word. It just means this is a hostile takeover of our country. I've never seen in my lifetime, I've never seen a sitting president who had to have a 26,000 person military presence at his inauguration, just because he doesn't feel safe. Why doesn't he feel safe? He claims it's because there were a few thousand people that tried to break into the U.S. Capitol and it was an insurrection and Trump did this and blah blah blah. Trump didn't do anything. Trump didn't tell him to go do that. That's a bunch of BS. You know it. I know it. Even the people on the left know it. But that's their lie that they use to advance that theory. But the whole thing is insane. But we knew it was coming. Okay, so don't give up. Don't stop fighting for your rights. Don't stop putting pressure on all your elected officials. Whenever you have a chance to refute a lie that you see, whether it's in social media or wherever else it might be, speak up. Don't be shy. Don't stop. And whenever you see somebody that's trying to take a right away of the people, the constitutional right or a moral right or whatever it is, don't just sit there and go, well, it'll be okay. We'll just weather the storm. No. You need to speak up. You need to stand up for your rights. You need to line the streets. You need to hold up signs. You need to make these people remember who we are as a nation. We're not a nation of people that need to be ruled by someone who's behind iron bars with thousands of people with guns surrounding them. That's not who we are. This is not that nation. If he really is the elected president of the United States, then he shouldn't need any of that stuff, because that means that the vast majority of the people elected him and chose him, and the rest of us will accept that. Unfortunately, that's not the case, is it? We all know it. It's not the case. He wasn't fairly elected. He stole that election somehow. We don't know exactly how he did it, but we know he did it. And because there was, I forgot the amount, but basically there was something like 50 million people more who voted than exist. So basically, that means that means there were 50 million people, roughly 50 million people, who voted that did not even exist. 50 million. That's not a tiny number. Now, some people are saying it's only a couple of thousand, but it's actually more like 50 million. That's what I was reading somewhere. Even if that's wrong, obviously there's something's not right about this man. There's something not right about this administration if they feel that they have to surround the White House, which used to be a place where you could go and just take pictures and it was fun. And I went there in 2009 or 10, something like that. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was Obama's White House. Or I guess it was 12 then, 2012. It was Obama's White House. I wasn't crazy about Obama, but I went there. It was fun. I went and took pictures. I had pictures taken of me in front of the White House. I talked to the Secret Service and the people who were there to guard the front entrance. And it was just a fun time. I wasn't crazy about Obama. I'm still not, but he was the president. I accepted it. I didn't like it, but I accepted it. But there's something wrong here. I mean, this is not good, people. Think about this for a minute. Think about what we've just seen when we watched this inauguration. We saw something that mirrors like Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is, Kim Jong Il. We saw something that seems more like a party um, event rather than an inauguration of an American president. I mean, when was the last time no matter who you are, I don't care how old you are, can you remember a time when the president's inauguration was guarded by thousands of people with fully automatic weapons and shields and who knows what else, grenades and whatever. When did that ever happen in our history, in our life, in my lifetime? I'm 50 years old, never seen it. Have you? I don't think anybody has ever seen that. I don't think that's ever existed. Even President Lincoln, who was one of the most hated presidents in his time because of the South being uh, threatened by him financially or whatever it was. Even President Lincoln did not have that much security in front of him and around him when he was speaking and everything and whatever. Uh, he didn't even have that. He didn't have that. So something is really, really wrong. There's more going on here. We have been taken over. This is a hostile takeover of our nation. It's not. This isn't just a president who just happens to have different opinions or different ways of doing things. This is a takeover. You know it. I know it. I think we all know it. So don't be surprised and don't be shocked, but also don't give up. Okay, don't forget who we are and who we need to be in the future, and don't allow anyone to trample your rights. You stand up for them. You stand up to them when they try to do it. You don't let them just take over and run your life, tell you what to wear, tell you what to eat, tell you where to go, where you can and can't go. Speak up, hold your fist up in the air, whatever you got to do. Now, I'm not advocating violence. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. So don't let anybody use that against me as saying, well, he's wanting people, wanting us to actually fight, like physically fight. The only time I would, quote unquote, advocate violence is if violence is being used against us. So yes, in that case, maybe. But as long as there's no violence being used against anyone, then I don't advocate violence. Violence would only be a response to violence, not. I'm not saying go out there and trample the White House or do anything to the president. I'm not saying any of that kind of crap like that. Nothing like that. So don't even suggest it. All I'm saying is that when they try to take your rights away, don't just sit there and let it happen. Rise up in a metaphorical sense. Speak up. Speak to your congressperson. Speak to your senator. Speak to your mayor. Speak to your governor. Write to the White House. If you have legal authority, legal power, issue what's the word I'm looking for? Lawsuits. Do whatever you can to make sure that this takeover doesn't hold and doesn't take. Don't let our nation slip into subjugation and slavery and lies and deceit and totalitarianism. Don't let it happen. All right, bye.